how do you believe like the younger generations designers can be more chill and believe in themselves in this long path, like to be resilient, to be more consistent? Olá, estamos aqui com Constanza, embaixadora da Câmara Nazionale della Moda Italiana e também cofundadora do Latino-America Fashion Awards. Então a gente vai entender um pouco sobre como funciona o sistema da moda para pessoas latinas, no sentido de quais tipos de estratégia, caminhos para seguir, quais os diferenciais, tudo isso e muito mais agora. You have like a huge background, like when we talk about Latin American designers and culture in general. You worked in very different like positions with this background.
Yes.
How do you think that, for example, I don't think this kind of position that you have nowadays is the kind of thing that you go to college and you like graduate as a, for example, lawyer.
No.
What are your advice to people that want to get in this more like unspecific?
So my background is, as you said, it's very rich, and it's in different fields like fashion, cinema, culture. But the thing is, I try to make platforms that unite all these industries that were not connected before. So, for example, I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and then I moved to Mexico City, and I created Fashion Week Mexico, and then at the same time in Mexico, I was doing the Latino-American Film Festival.
Yes.
So, it's like always cinema and fashion, and at the end, nowadays there are two arts that are working together. So it's all about creativity at the end. So I like to build unprecedented platforms where young talents, young creatives can show their work, their talents, and important people of the business, of the industry, can really change their lives. So I think that today we are not lacking of talents. We were lacking of this kind of platforms that show the world who we are and what can we offer to the world. So my advice to all the creatives, and I always say this because I'm doing, besides being the ambassador of Camera Nazionale della Moda Italiana for Latin America.
You are the first one, right?
Yes, it's the first ever that they appoint this kind of mission. And being the co-founder of Latin American Fashion Awards, I'm doing film fashion communication master in Accademia Costume Moda. The university that Alessandro Michele was studied. So I always tell the students that there's one thing that you cannot lose is identity. And if you really want to be heard, first you have to know which is your voice, your own voice, because there's a lot of noise out there, and there's it's a lot of mess. And I think the fashion industry is living like a disruptive moment, a difficult moment, not only for small brands, but for luxury brands. Luxury industry is like really struggling. So I was thinking the other day, watching the bay from the Janeiro Hotel. I was like kind of inspiring. And then I thought, if someone can win in this chaos, it's Latin people, because we know how to be resilient.
Yes.
We know, we've been there so many times. I'm from Argentina, and we've been up and down like a roller coaster. So we have this inside, that in difficult moments, we go all the way. So I think that we have to navigate this tough sea, but the young creator have to have hope, have to have personality, a very unique voice to offer to the world, and the rest is a challenge, but we can make it.
And where this ill of making these connections between like designers and more underground scenarios with like huge brands and
The thing is, I think when I arrived, I'm from Argentina, and then I went to Mexico to live, and then I founded Fashion Week Mexico and Latino-American Film Festival. I got married, and I went to Milan, and start seeing that. Then my husband is from the fashion industry, so I went to all the shows and everything, and I started seeing the same people in the same in the shows or even in the cocktails, and I was asking myself, where is the rest of Milan? Where is the students? Where is So I realized that fashion was really for few, and it was like really blinded, and I said no. I'm Argentina, I'm Latin America, let's do something here in Milan, and let's try to open the system. And I founded Fashion Film Festival Milano with the first edition with Franca Sozzani, Luca Guadagnino, and Giorgio Armani, and Pierpaolo Piccioli. I have to do it in the right way. But I understood,
you were like
that is our force, and I'm always telling that. That is our force, our talented. This is the cherry on the cake for us, Latin American. So, but I understood that in order for the press and in order to the big names of the fashion industry pays attention to the young designers, you have to involve them. You cannot do something completely separate from them. Okay. So that's why I begin to put into this project, the Fashion Festival Milano, all these big names together with newcomers. So it was, I don't know, like Giorgio Armani with Stella Jan in that moment, with this super ranking photographer with another one's upcoming. So this mix of I have this motto inside the festival that it was El piccolo aiuta el grande aiuta el piccolo. Vuol dire the big helps the small. So being together, because the big ones are breathing a new air, and the small ones are, learning, and they are supported by these big names. So after that, I co-founded Latin American Fashion Awards in 2000. We did our first edition in 2023, but we started working like 3 years before that with the same philosophy. We put all these jurors together, like Aider Ackerman, Donatella Versace, and Ana de Lorusso, and Nina Garcia from Elle, with Carla Martinez from Vogue, from Vivian Sotocorno from Vogue Brazil. So everyone, in the same, not competition, everybody together with the same mission, that is support Latin American talents. So last year, for example, in our second edition of Latin American Fashion Awards, I was watching Donatella Versace doing one-to-one interview with our finalists, and I was seeing all the faces of our finalists, like this.
Yeah.
In Donatella, no, this is very good. No, and I love your dress. I was watching, the faces of the designer, like, Donatella is saying that she loves my dress, so that can change your life.
Yeah.
So being able to do all these projects that can really, and involving the people that can really change our talent's life, is, for me, is priceless. So yeah. I really do it with passion.
No, I agree with you like 100%. I started as a fashion designer. I worked in the industry for 10 years. And during the pandemic, I started to do like fashion content, like more deeper content and everything. And the first brand that approached me was Chanel at the time. And at the time, I didn't have even an iPhone. I used to use like a random phone and everything. And they changed my life because like I always talk about issues, for example, racism, like diversity, like very sensible things. And like when Chanel like gave me this, like we like you. Like we like that you say
Sí,
that our
sí,
bag have
sí.
the inspiration,
Sí.
the craftsmanship
Sí,
of the beach person
sí.
that is selling. So I can like talk with an audience, for example, in Brazil, that is more traditional,
sí.
that consume Chanel, for example, about racism with them. Like
Claro,
they
claro.
look at me like, oh, she's wearing Chanel and she's talking about racism. Maybe I can. I think it's very what moves me. I think it's awesome.
You cannot don't give credit to luxury because they are luxury. There are like some companies that are really into that. When I started with the Fashion Festival Milano, it was like the first ever fashion and cultural project, at least in Italy, in Milan, that it was for free, completely for free, super inclusive. I have like Lea T in our juror. We talk a lot about, you know, the uncomfortable truth about fast fashion. And I have Oscar from Ausglen with me many years. He was the juror in 2017 with Giorgio Armani as president of the jury, and I invited him from Rio to come to Milan to speak about sustainability. Inside the festival, I have like Fashion Festival Milano for Green, like a very strong project that supports all the initiatives, sustainability and green projects. And we have Fashion Film Festival Milano for Women, that is like women-oriented and supporting women talent and women projects and pro-women. And yeah, we have a lot of big brands supporting the cause, and even as you mentioned, you know, Chanel and Dior and Louis Vuitton and Prada, they always supported us, and Gucci. Well, there's a lot of brands that really believe, I think, in the young voices, and it's okay. You know, I thank them for that.
Yeah, I believe they can change the life of different persons. Like if a huge brand like that look at starting, for example, painter artists, you can like give a boost to them to like be seen and be more introduced in the industry faster, maybe.
Exactly. For example, in Latin American Fashion Awards, we have the Willy Chavarria.
I'm a huge fan of him.
You
I think he's one of the best for me currently.
What he's doing right now,
I have no words. For me, it's
exactly. It's an example. It's like it makes good skin. So that's why I say that you have to find your own voice. He found it, and he stick to that, and it's giving him all the success. And he's so true.
Yes.
You know, because he does what he believes in. So it's energy again. And when something is true, it flows in a different direction. It's like very strong, and people can feel it. So Willy Chavarria, Luar, Saya, you know, she won our first edition for the best influencer of the year, and we love, with Silvia, my partner, we love the fact that she was elected because, you know, she represents the kind of voice that we want to give a space to, you know, talking about Amazonia and talking about to protect the planet, and seeing her on stage, it was like illuminating. It was like very emotional, and I think that these moments shows you that you are in the right track, and Luar, and you know, we have Caroline Vito too. A lot of people that, you know, like a voice out of the choir, and we're here to help to amplify that voice.
Yes. Sí. And also I think that, as you were saying about Willy, as Latin Americans, we have like more challengers to get in similar spots, for example, comparing to a European designer or photographer and everything. We have like the language barrier, we have like a different lifestyle in a huge different kinds of levels, which makes it harder to be like globally seen. But on the other hand, it's also a superpower if you like understand that. Willy, I think, is a huge example of that for me.
Exactly. And for example, what does Willy is not only a brand, it's a movement.
Yes.
You know, he creating a movement is like fashion activism almost.
Yes.
So And then, he arrived to a point when which Sarah called him and said, let's do a collaboration because he's credible. And he says, okay, so I am not losing my identity. I can work with Sarah without losing it. So, when you are very solid in what you are saying, your message is so coherent, then you can accept different kind of choices, from Zara to doing by yourself, to do a show. His last show in Paris was unbelievable. I think it's like before and after.
It's my dream to go to a show of him, like if you one day I want to.
Really, we have to invite her to the show. Yeah. But for example, he mixed, fashion film, live performances, theater, protest. It was everything's going on, like multisensorial. Yeah. And then I was in New York like 1 month ago, and I was in Dover Street Market, and it was a corner for Willy Chavarria corner, and it was like a set of the fashion film he did. No, so everything is coherent. You go to the shop, to Dover Street Market, and the corner is like the desk with the lamp, and the telephone is like a cinematic set brought from the film. So everything is coherent. He understood that nowadays, it's 360 degrees.
And I think that even if you talk with him, I'm imagining, if you say, oh, I think what you did, the collab with Zara is not a good, I'm 100% sure that he will have a very good explanation why he did it and what he's going to do after this movement. It's always seemed not a random thing, or
no.
It's
no.
I need to do this to get this to get this because of this.
No, it's what I'm saying to the young generation too. Nowadays, unfortunately, maybe, it's not enough to be just a designer. Yeah. Creativity is obviously fundamental, but it's not enough. You have to be present digitally, commercially. You have to be a kind of designer / entrepreneur.
And also
/ digital. You have to have an open mind and be curious and inform yourself, because have a structure, a financial structure in your business plan nowadays is super important. So it's difficult. You have to be really prepared.
It's like a whole company in one person.
Yes.
You have to be PR, very political also, a mix of things. And I think that this example that you did about Willy, he has something that I think sometimes people get a little bit confused about, because as I worked with younger designers in my previous job position, and I think this current generation has this thing they want things to go fast, to see a result fast. And Willy, for example, he worked for years in Calvin Klein in different spots, so I think he blew up from nowhere if you look at him nowadays, but this huge background that he had in companies in different positions, I think it is what was important for him to have these opportunities now and be ready, have this more clear view of his aesthetic, how the business work, what can he do, how can he hack some things, how do you see that?
No, that Rome is not built in a day, obviously. And the guys have to slow down and don't be, obviously dreaming is for free. We can all dream, and we can state a lot of things to the universe, but you have to be patient, because magic happens. It really does, but you have to be patient. And again, don't go every time outside, know yourself more, because the more unique you are, the more you have something to say to the world that will differentiate you from the rest of the group, because again, there's too much noise out there. And investors, big brands, they look for that unique voices, because they know the market. You know, they don't want noise, they want unique. And Will is unique. And if you go to WWD and read about him, you know, he has his first round of investors, like, I don't know, I don't want to make a mistake, but everyone who is watching, go and check the facts. But it's like, for example, 3 years ago, the first round, and 1 year ago, the second round that pushed him, you know. So all these investors are looking for someone who has something different to say, you know. So don't try to copy, and don't be impatient, you know. And again, we're living in a very difficult time, but we are resilient. We are Latin-Americans, and we're resilient.
Resilience is a thing that like different guests here talk about, and also about consistency. So like, how do you believe like the younger generations designers can be more chill and believe in themselves in this long path, like to be resilient, to be more consistency?
Again, go inside, not outside. You know, too much noise can really make you crazy and forget where is your north, and gives you a lot of confusion. Yesterday, I was having lunch with other friends that did this, they were speakers, and you interview them, and we were all having lunch, and we were talking the same. You know, there's social media can really mess your brain, and too much information get you confused, and you know, you separate yourself from the source, your inner source. So, you know, I hope that, you know, we are in the peak of this mountain and we are going to
Me too.
I hope, because you know,
I'm afraid of quantity. I am like a quality.
But you know, fashion is going that way too.
You feel?
Yes, I feel that, you know, they realize that numbers at the beginning was, wow, millions and millions, but at the end, who really from these millions and millions are buying your product at the end, you know? So they're changing a lot of their strategy and going more, you know, at least in Europe. They're inviting influencers that has their own niche, you know, and you know, the designers that are doing, instead of fashion shows, they're doing private dinners with direct clients. So I think that, again, it's too much noise for everyone in every sense, and everyone has to find their own strategy. You know, I was watching the Instagram of Michi, you know, the Brazilian brand, and I really love it. He has his own, you know, he puts himself out there, and I like that. This is very personal.
Yes.
It's like Jacquemus is doing, you know. I say, you know, he's who he is, and he and I was watching it, and I said, I know, I like it. It's super cool and funny and fresh, and you know, I think that this kind of strategy, if this strategy vibrates with your own needs, it's perfect.
Yes, and he's also Aaron, which is the creative
director.
He's like a very good example of this new way of operation of designers. Like he is like very good at PR. He's like always like going with places, like connecting with brands, like making strategic decisions and movements, focusing on the brand, like or his own brand. Like, I need to do this partnership with this water brand, but this I'm going to do because of this here that I want to invest.
It's called creative direction.
Yes.
Before it was a designer. I'm a designer, and now it changed to creative direction, because you have to be aware, you know. I want to do this show. Will is a creative director. He's not only a designer. So I think that everything is reshaping, and we're in we're in a digital moment, we're in a digital reality. In the last 10 years, everything changed. So photographers changed to fashion filmmakers because the photo is not, the printed is not so appealing anymore. So photographers to fashion filmmakers, designers to creative directors, and to be able to direct a campaign, a fashion show, a fashion film, a collaboration with water, and Willy with Don Julio. It's yeah.
And also working with younger designers, I think like one thing that may be challenging from my personal perspective, when I got more in this kind of influencer, more public position, something that I found really different from being, for example, a assistant designer in the past, is that this industry has very specific codes. Like there is like very specific manners. I feel that there is a little bit of this, like be yourself, but like you have to have like a little bit of maturity to understand that it's not like yourself. There are some rules and things.
See, you have to know the rules of the game.
Yeah, how do you deal with that, like dealing with young designers and professionals? Because it's something that is very different to teach someone, but on the other hand, very important.
Follow the rules of the game. The game has changed, but at the same time, when I arrived to Milan, I'm from Argentina. I'm very passionate. I live in Mexico, so I was not Milanese at all. And at the beginning, I was like, oh, I have to learn Italian, and when I start like, my husband is Etro from the Italian fashion brand. So awesome. We started doing trips together and do research together and do the shows together and the music. I was like being YouTube and searching for music. And, this is for the show, la la la. But at the end, I was like, yeah, it's fun, but I wanted to do something by myself. No, so I invented the Fashion Festival Milano. And I remember the first person that I went to see to present my project. It was Franca Sozzani. That I knew her, in the shows of Etro. But hello, ciao, ciao. Okay, that's it. So, but I was sure. I told my husband, when I asked for her an appointment with her, and they said, okay, yeah, she will meet you, but only 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah, fine, perfect. But I was sure. I told my husband, I feel that with Franca. So I went to Neste in Milan, and I have a meeting that lasts 2 hours and a half, and we became like inseparably. And then when I left the office, my husband was calling me. I didn't respond. I just want to say, how was it? I'm like, super. It was so cool. So she said, okay, Constanza, let's do your festival. Will be the president of the jury, and
like Vogue got in right in the
right. No, the edition 0. No, it doesn't exist. And she said, Constanza, whatever you need.
That's so unique. Like,
and then I realized, and then through the years and the friendship, she told me, there was a voice outside the choir, and I realized that at the end, being yourself has an energy that is so powerful that the other person, if it's really not illuminated person, but when you're talking with people that they are like in a very high hierarchy, like Franca, all these creators, they are sensible, and I think that what she really appreciates, obviously my project was wonderful and everything, but I think that what she appreciated and saw in me, it was the freshness and the I'm here, I'm like this, I talk like this, I'm very passionate, I'm like this, I'm not trying to be someone else.
You were like comfortable in your own skin, being yourself.
So at the end, you have to know the rules of the game, but at the same time, you have to know the rule of the games to be, so you can navigate being yourself. It's like, finding the right balance. But I think that You know, that is what opened a lot of doors for me. You know, even when Latin American Fashion Awards and my friend Sylvia, it's like me. You were passionate. So when people start listening to both of us talking about Latin America, it's like okay, I got it, I love it. You know, because you know you have to be passionate, and so yeah, again, be passionate, love what you do. Love what you do and love yourself, because if you love what you do and you don't love yourself, you know.
Yes. That's so interesting. I feel like we are almost in a therapy or maybe a self-help coaching group. No, for me it's perfect. It's very important.
But at the end, it's
about that.
It's about that, because you know,
we are
creativity is we are persons, exactly. We are like not AI. You know.
I'm so afraid of AI. I think
no, you know.
I understand that.
No, it's unbelievable. You know, I'm doing. I'm like the teacher of this master of fashion communication. I started my first appointment with all the students before coming here. It is a 6th year I'm doing this, no, and I love it. So I love the students, and I have to change all the presentation, you know, because everything changed, you know, AI.
Okay.
So I was talking to this before doing the first appointment with the students. I was talking with this fashion filmmaking that now is only working with AI. He showed me his last work, and I was like, no, this is not AI. Don't tell me this. Constanza, it's all AI. All the characters, everything was AI. And I was like, and how long did it take to do this? 3 days. And I was like, okay, I have to tell all the students about this. You know? So thanks God, I had this talk with my friend before the first appointment, and I told all the students. But he told me something that he said, Constanza, in 1 year, every one of us will be able to do this kind of films that I did.
I'm so afraid of that.
But again, and he told me again, but I could do it because all what you're seeing in the film is inside my brain, inside my imagination. And I could exactly give the right input to the software to do it. So at the end, everyone we have the instrument to do it, but very few will have this, because first you have to be creative and to have all this imagination inside your head, and then you have to be able to give the right input to the software to do that film. Yeah. So I was like, okay, it's not so easy, it's not so scary, because you have to be talented. He was an art director before, a director, assistant director, so he has like a career, you know. It's not like, okay, it's easy to do. So at the end, the challenge will be to give the software the right input to do what you want the software to do for you.
Yes, and also like if we think about from this perspective, if you have, for example, a script that is made by ChatGPT, it will be a bad movie. Doesn't matter if it's a real person doing the script or an AI project, because there is not the soul.
Exactly.
So kind of.
See. As again he was saying, and I continue using the word noise since we have this conversation, because he said again, everyone will be able to do this, blah 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 blah. But again, it's noise. It's just noise when you don't have what he has, all the imagination and all this interior creative world. It's noise. You want to be part of the noise? Don't go and do your homework. If you want to be different, do your homework.
Yes. The only thing that is it makes me have I'm concerned about is that I think that maybe I'm how can I say this, pessimista.
See, pessimist.
maybe I'm a pessimist, that I feel that the younger generations are losing this sensibility of noticing what is noise and what is really like raw and sentimental and like a deeper feeling. I don't know.
But in the end, we are humans, and
Yes.
and when something is real, it touches you, and when something is not. For example, a person that is always listening to noise, maybe when the first time he listened to something raw and real, he start like feeling something different. Like, oh,
I don't know what happened.
What
Like,
happened?
why?
You know, wow. We hope for that.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm a little pessimist too, but I try to look at the right side. And you know, we're here, and we have to keep on doing what we want to do, and building happy moments. So yeah.
And also, these are things that go like beyond our choices. Like the market is changing, so if you have to adapt to it, like let's try and do it the best way that we can. Like
No, and be creative, you know, because we got fashion weeks, you know, fashion weeks. Fashion weeks. No, they are. You know, you cannot compete with all these big, gigantic shows with big, gigantic celebrities and designers and millions. You know, so
it's becoming kind of a, I don't know what is a red carpet of an Oscar,
sí.
or if a fashion show became.
Exactly.
I feel like which one is which one? I'm
Sí.
confused about it.
Yeah, but I think that, you know, brands, intelligent brands, have to do different things, you know, different things, because when you cannot compete with all these big budgets and big everything, you know, instead of go there and try to fight, you do your own thing, and be more. Now is the time to be creative in every way, disrupted in every way, you know, think out of the box in every way. No, sit down with all your friends and start brainstorming till you arrive to a good idea that nobody did before. Go to different places and do different things, and be creative in a, you know, in a community, in your group of friends. You know, I always rely in this brainstorming of people that can bring ideas to the table.
And when you think about these things from the Latin perspective,
Sí.
which are the biggest challenges for this community that we are part of? When you think about getting in these environments, there are things that you find that are harder, like the biggest challenges for the Latin brands to get global.
Sí. For example, they need to. We mentioned before, they need to be prepared financially, because, you know, okay, an international buyer love your collection, but if you're not able to produce,
like to have money in advance,
you know, and you cannot compromise with the buyer to give a certain amount of items. So, you know, it's nobody put in discussion the creativity. Creativity is, it's absolutely amazing in Latin America. Amazing. And it's time for us to believe that. It's really amazing. I'm telling you, I'm in Milan, and I've been around, and since Latin American Fashion Awards, all the incredible talents, the photographers, fashion filmmakers, stylists, makeup artists, designers, it's amazing. That's absolutely. So the first step, ding, done. The second step is to be prepared for, because I can take you to Milan, Latin American Fashion Awards. What we do is all the winners, it's a biannual platform. So we do 2023, we did our first edition. 2024, we took all the winners to Milan during Milan Fashion Week with all the press, international press and buyers. And we do a beautiful cocktail with Nina Garcia, with El America, beautiful, an exhibition. 2025, last year, second edition. This year we are going again to Milan. So we as platform are doing our best, impossible best, to bring all the talents and put in front of the best buyers, fashion week, journalists, everyone. But you have to be prepared for that. So, we can give you that.
The opportunity, but you need to,
opportunity,
to learn how to navigate it.
But
right?
you have to be prepared. And what I found the most is that in the field that they are not prepared is in the financial structure, in the business model, in all these things that at the beginning, in the 90s, 2000, this is for, I'm a creator, I'm a designer, I don't like to go there, numbers. Nowadays you have to do it. Yes. You have to do it because now it's very fast. Unfortunately, I don't like absolutely the pace, the rhythm that has the fashion industry right now, and I think it's going to slow down. But it's like very crazy. But this is a game, so be prepared. When they ask questions, be prepared. So I think that we are lacking preparation and education, because you say, okay, I'm a designer, where I can learn about that? There's no institutions that can teach you. For example, we have in Italy Camera Nazionale della Moda Italiana. France has theirs. America, the United States has the CFDA that I'm advisory board to there. And okay, we have all these organizations that helps. In Latin America, we don't have.
Yes.
So we're lacking organizations that support talent. We're lacking the private sector that really wants to support talent, because okay, you give visibility, but then you have to support them. So, yeah. So if you're a Latin American creator and unfortunately you're living in Latin America and your country doesn't have this organization, now you have internet. Start doing the research and learning. We cannot blame anymore. We don't have time to blame. So go there and be curious and start ChatGPT, business plan, help me, or start asking someone to present someone who can help you with a business plan, because nowadays it's important.
Yes, and also, as you were saying, in Brazil particularly, I think there is something that it was very shocking to me when I spent like a short period in France. I was in a museum, I don't remember which one, but there was an exhibition of the backwards of clothes. I think it was 3 years ago. And as I was there, like arrived a excursion, of children of, I don't know, 3-4 years old, like with the school, like with the neon jackets. And I was like, how crazy is that? Like they see fashion as cultural.
Exactly.
There are not so many exhibitions of fashion in Brazil. I think that because of our background, fashion is not seen as art and as something else. We have like this difficulty of seeing fashion, not fashion, but like clothes, indumentaria, as culture, as something that is important. I think like
it's a social, it's like a force of expression.
Yeah, it's also, yes. And the governments and the brands looking at it and like putting money. No, this is important for society. Like fashion has its place. So I think this is something that for me also I feel that.
Yes, you have
in
to.
Latin, in
they
Rio,
have to
in
understand.
Brazil, it's something that I feel that is lacking for us. There is this misconception.
It's an industry. They have to see it as an industry, and they have to help. As they help other kinds of industry, they have to help the fashion industry, because the fashion industry is not only fashion; it's a creative world. It's not the designers, costureras. I don't know how to say it in the sewers or
costureras,
tailors. So it's a big industry and big numbers. In Italy, it's a big number, and I think in Brazil, I don't know the numbers, but maybe it's big too. So we're lacking different things. Most of them, it's about preparation. the creativity we have. So it's not the most important thing we have. The second most important thing is the resilience we have already. So it's preparation, you know.
Yes, we are getting there. I think, like step by step,
Sí.
being resilient and doing.
And for example, now I'm ambassador of Camera Nacional de la Moda Italiana for Latin America, and obviously, I think that Latin American Fashion Awards, the big success that we had, help to open eyes in Europe, and the fact that I'm living there obviously helps, you know, to spread the world. But at the same time, I think that it's our momentum.
Yes.
And
the spotlight is turning.
See, because at the beginning when I started talking to Aider Ackerman, that he was the president of the jury at the first edition, or Nina, or Carmen Busquets, Ana de Loruso is a good friend of mine. They all, when I start describing the project, latino-american, it's our time, absolutely, yes. So everyone was saying, yes, I love the idea, let's do it. So I was like, okay, this is the moment. You know, everyone is eager to find something new. They are curious and they need fresh air. In Europe, they need something new. So, you know, the bridge is almost done. You know, I'm the bridge, but you know, I'm super happy and more than eager to bring talents, but they have to be prepared because I cannot do it alone. And all the institutions and the governments have to help us because if not, you know, the moment would pass and we will miss it, and I don't want to miss it, you know.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I love talking to you.
Oh, thank you. I love to meet you.
Rio.